Meeting of the Torrington City Council to order. Good evening and welcome. As usual, we have Ryan Caith from KERM, KGOS Radio here with us. This meeting is being broadcast live on both radio stations, local radio stations, and on the YouTube channel, and it will be up there on the YouTube channel if one wants to review it. We also have Ms. Jess Oakes here from the Torrington Telegram. This is the second meeting in August, 16th meeting of the year. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I've asked Councilman Wayne Deal to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda are the mayor's informational items. Today is primary election day. Voting polls are still open until 7 p.m. The Lord God has blessed each and every one of us to live in a nation that is the greatest experiment in history of whether the people can govern themselves and maintain their God-given rights and liberties. Along with these rights and liberties come corresponding duties. In Wyoming, if you are age 18 and older, you have an official office. Yes, an official office. If you are 18 and older, you are by state statute an elector. Citizens have both a right and a duty to make themselves reasonably informed and then go vote for the candidates of their choice. Thank you to the candidates that are willing to serve and do the hard work of campaigning. And thank you to all you citizens who have taken time to become informed and then exercise your right and duty to vote. According to the calendar, there is another month of summer remaining, but many summer activities are winding down as the students at all levels return back to school. I wish all the students, parents, teachers, and administrators the very best of school years. As the days of summer wind down, please continue to enjoy our golf course, voted #1 public golf course in Wyoming. Please also continue to enjoy our many parks, ball fields, and walking paths. As we've already noted, school has begun. Please especially watch for school buses loading and unloading children and the bicycle and pedestrian traffic that comes with the schools opening up. As always, please slow down. Please drive carefully. Please do not use your cell phones while driving. Regarding the mass notification system, our old mass notification system, Code Red, is done. It is no longer functioning. We have our new mass notification system known as Civic Ready fully up and running. If you want to get on that mass notification system for notifications, you can refer to the link on the city website and you can refer to the link on the county website. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the August 6, 24 council meeting as published.
Mr. Mayor, I would move to approve the consent agenda.
I have a motion from Councilman Patterson to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Deal. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as set forth signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the consent agenda is approved. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda itself.
Move to approve the agenda as presented.
I have a motion from Councilman Victron to approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Kelly. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approval of the agenda as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the agenda itself is approved. Next item on the agenda is what we call the public forum. I don't see anybody that wants to take part in the public forum, but I like to let the public know that they have access to us through that public forum. The public forum is for non-agenda items. There is a time limit of 2 minutes, and the speaker must sign up before the meeting. This is a time for council to listen although no action will be taken. And there are forms that can be filled out and placed in that black box in front of Councilman Victorin if one wants to sign up for the public forum section. Next item on the agenda are the action items. First item is a request to approve a special event permit and to waive the fee for the special event. Brooke Gasling from the Torrington Volunteer Fire Department Ladies Auxiliary is requesting a special event permit for a stop, drop, and run/walk 5K color run to be held on September 7th, 24, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. The applicant is requesting approval to have the special event permit fee waived due to the fact that the event is a non-profit community event. And we have here tonight Assistant Chief Patrick Connolly, and I would first call on Assistant Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. Chief Johnson has gone through the special events permit and the plan that they have in place here. Had no objections to everything. Everybody's going to be staying on the running path or on the sidewalk. There will be minimal traffic interruptions. There are a couple of intersections where they have concerns about people crossing, and they will have volunteers there in safety vests to help the runners get across those intersections.
Okay, and those volunteers will be fire department?
Yes, fire department volunteers.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Assistant Chief?
Mr. Mayor, this is the same route as last year, I presume?
Yes, it is.
And mostly sidewalk?
Yep, sidewalk and running path.
Okay. And I believe this is the second year, maybe? Okay, that this event was approved by council last year. Is Brooke Gasling here? Yes. Would like you come up and just kind of let us know what's going on, Brooke? And if you would, as you approach that microphone, just state your name for the record.
My name is Brooke Gasling. You pretty much said everything there is. We just help out with fires that are going on, help our firefighters most importantly, and then trying to step out in the community and do what we can for them. This is just a fundraiser for that, and also just a chance for the community to get together.
Okay. Did you have a successful event last year?
Yeah, it was great last year. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of color thrown. Everyone got plenty wet since it was plenty hot, so.
It probably be plenty hot on the 7th of September, too.
Kind of hoping so. We'll get the fire trucks out.
All right. Gentlemen, any questions for Ms. Gasling? All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions for Assistant Chief? All right. I would entertain a motion to approve the special event permit set forth in item 1 and to waive the special event permit fee as this is a non-profit community event. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I would make the motion to approve the Volunteer Fire Department Auxiliary special event permit and to waive the fee.
Oh, thank you, Councilman Deal. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
That was it. Oh, Councilman Kelly's pointing to Councilman Victorin. So second by Councilman Victorin. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the special event permit set forth in item 1 and waiving the special event permit fee signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, that special event permit is approved and the fee is waived. Next item on the agenda is item number 2, special event permit, and a request also to waive the special event permit fee. Doug Mercer with Scottsbluff Valley Street Rods, SVSR, is requesting a special event permit for a Classic Cars on Main Street event to be held on September 14th, 24, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The applicant is requesting approval to close the public street on Main Street from the intersection of Main Street and Valley Road to 21st Avenue, and on the additional areas to the east and west as specified on the map submitted with the application. The applicant is also requesting to have the special event permit fee waived due to the fact that the event is a community event hosted by a nonprofit organization. And again, in the absence of Chief Johnson, I would call on Assistant Chief Patrick Connolly.
Thank you, Mayor. This event, again, is one that's been hosted in the years past. It's always been a successful event. It brings a lot of people to the downtown area. The footprint is essentially the same as what it's been in the past, a little bit larger than in years past, to my understanding. They're asking for a half block each way on 21st Street, half a block west on 20th, and a full block east on 20th, and then a half block east on 19th, and then Main all the way from Valley to 21st Avenue. Street barricades will be provided by the street department. They'll be dropped off. Our people will be available to help set them up if needed.
Okay. And
In addition to that, they'll have a few additional activities this year. They're going to have a DJ that'll be playing 50s and 60s music. We don't anticipate there being many noise problems with that. They had that last year, and there wasn't any issues with it then either. But in addition, they'll have a petting zoo for small animals, goat size and smaller. And then they will have a bounce house for the kiddos to play on.
so that's new this year, I think, the
Yes.
bounce house and the petting zoo, right?
Yes.
And I noticed we did get the notification of event forms. And it appears to me that anybody down in that area, business-wise and so forth, that could be affected by the event has been at least notified, and many have agreed with it and signed off on it, from
That's
what
my
I'm looking at. All right, gentlemen, do you have any questions for Assistant Chief Connolly? All right, is Mr. Mercer in the room? You want to come forward? Thank you, and if you would, we know who you are, but for the record, just state your name, please.
Doug Mercer.
Thank you, Doug. Go ahead.
Well, again, this is September, and we do our fall show in mid-September. As you guys probably recall, last year was our 50th anniversary, so we went hog wild on everything and spent way too much money, and now we're trying to recover from that, to be honest. This year, we've had bounce houses a year or two in the past, but we've never had a petting zoo. It's the first year for it. As a matter of fact, it's a brand-new company that's out of Kimball, Nebraska, and they have some children and spouses that are traumatic injuries, and they're developing a program to help children and adults to be better able to cope with their difficulties, and we're going to see how that works out this year. It will be a small 20 by 20 assembled pin by the bounce house, and we'll see how it works out.
So the bounce house and the petting zoo are in the same vicinity?
Yes, both of those will be on West 20th, the half block that we asked for reserve on West 20th. At least that's the plan. Things are fluid that day. People get placed where they want to be placed and other things. We're also going to have a mall car contest for the kids. There will be exhibitions inside the lobby of the theater and a swap meet in the theater parking lot. And we'll see how that works.
So that's new this year too, right?
That's new this year too. The activity, we're trying hard to get kids, because if kids want to go, they drag their parents, and that's who we're after also.
Well, I know last year, Doug, I thought you had a good turnout. Did you guys think you had a good turnout?
That's the largest show that we've ever had on, for that September show, via car count. And we're trying to do it again. I don't know. You never know who's going to show up. You can ask a lot of people, but if there's other things going on, things get in the way. We'll see how we do.
All right. Gentlemen, do you have any questions for Doug?
I have a couple of questions, Mr.
Go ahead. Councilman
The
Patterson.
first one's just curiosity. In the petting zoo, what kind of critters are you going to have there?
Goats, mostly. We've been told at this point, it's still fluid. It could be additional, another type of animal, but it won't be lions and tigers and bear, Mr. Mayor. But it'll be something child-friendly.
Okay. I was just curious. I could loan you a Highland cow or two if you need some more.
I'm sorry?
I could loan you a Highland cow or two if you need some more to fill the.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, okay. Well,
Is that a little one?
no. Well, they're small, but they have big horns. So, the other question I have is really more one of housekeeping. With the notification of events, what I see is the block street goes in front of the theater, the movie theater. Were they notified?
Oh, it was their idea. Are you kidding?
Okay.
Maria's all over this.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
She invited us into her lobby with our model car display, saying, I don't know that we have room, but we'll make it work.
Perfect. Thank you.
So that's what she said.
Yep.
And just by the way, in case Shane is wondering if we have porta pots, we do. We have 2. Well, I know that you show up and you want to know where they're at.
He's looking out for our health and welfare.
I'm sure that's it. Yeah, I'm sure that's it. But
Doug, I couldn't quite hear what you said about in the lobby of the theater. What is
model car,
model car?
displays.
And then in the parking lot,
model car swap meet.
a what?
Model car swap meet?
Swap meet.
Swap meet.
Don't ask me. I don't know what that means. I haven't done model cars since I was 13. But
Okay.
we have a club member that's 60 plus, and he does. He does model cars still. And most of the cars that's going to be, to my understanding, in the theater lobby will be his.
Okay.
At the swap meets, they buy, sell, trade.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
And oh, by the way,
I just know porta potties, so.
we're looking for sponsors for the petting zoo. C&M feeds. Just dropping a hint.
Well, you're being broadcast live on the radio, so.
Yes.
Are you gonna have food vendors at all?
Yes. We have 5 different varieties of food. Of course, Mexican and corn dogs and brisket and barbecue. No fish, but
And where are they gonna be located at?
various places.
Not on Main Street though, right?
As I recall, last year, Doug,
At
they
least-
were down by where Windmill Realty is.
At
that end of
least
Main.
one like that location. That's the Delicioso food truck, and they're Mexican, and they like the location. They said they'd be here again. They'll probably take that location, but we try and spread them out so they're not all bunched up. The wild hare 2-horse, she probably won't have her trailer out because her equipment's in her facility now. So she'll be doing some kind of drink, attempting to drag people from Main Street a half a block to her shop and get them to buy a drink that way. That's one case. We also have Torrington Beverage with their Pepsi products, so we'll be selling those on Main Street. Sweet Lou's will be here again. Get your breakfast burritos.
And what time do you guys start setting up? The event's from 8 to 3, right?
We're there at 7. You got to be there at 7 because somebody with a car is going to pull in at 7:15. It's just the way it happens.
Okay. All right, any further questions for Doug? I don't think so. Thank you, Doug.
You bet. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I would, if you're ready for a motion.
I'm ready for a motion.
I would move to approve this permit and to waive the fee.
All right, I have a motion from Councilman Patterson to approve the special event permit request set forth in item 2 and waive the fee. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Kelly. Any further discussion, gentlemen?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just have one question for the city attorney about the indemnification agreement. Does that need to include the petting zoo as well?
Could we have that?
Mr. Mayor, I do see, Mr. Eddington, that there is $1 million liability policy that,
They did have that, an umbrella policy that should cover it. Probably something we want to add next year, or maybe make it a little broader with any and all activities. But there's an assumption of risk statute in the statutes that you assume some of those risks doing that. So I think we're good.
Okay.
that work?
All right, any further discussion? Good question. Don't see any further discussion. All right, I have a motion and a second to approve the special event permit set forth in item 2 and to waive the fee. No further discussion. I'll
Oh,
call.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, before you call for the vote, one final question. Doug, are you aware of the fees that the city has, will be charging? The fees for the personnel?
The $40 fee that goes along with the special events permit for the first time this year, is that the one you're speaking of?
No, the fees that the city hall will charge for staff time to bring out the trash dumpsters and the barricades and to pick those up.
We are not, because it's not been mentioned to us. Is that,
That is part of the new ordinance that was passed.
I did notice that the
The
chief delineated hours, time, and money. If that's the way it is, then we'll cover that.
Yes, I think there was, he estimated 4 hours and then 30 minutes, so 4.5 hours of total staff time.
Seems reasonable.
Okay. Just wanted
Send us an invoice.
Okay.
All right, any further discussion? Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the special event permit and waiving the fee, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, the special event permit in item 2 is approved. Thank you, Doug. All right, next item on the agenda is item 3, approval of the bills from August 8th, August 8th, 24 to August 7th, 24 to August 20th, 24. And I'd call on Mrs. Strecker.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Attached to your agenda were a list of bills, and handed out tonight was an additional set of bills. I just wanted you to take note of the high dollar amount to Wyoming Machinery. We did receive our compactor at the landfill for $646,050. And we also received our garbage truck. So that's over $1 million right there. So we're going to have a pretty large dollar amount of a check run. Just to kind of give you guys a heads up, our bank account will be steeply withdrawn here when those clear. I'd be glad to answer any other questions you might have.
Just to clarify, that's for the trash compactor, one item, and the other item is the garbage truck itself.
Right, for another 330,000.
Maybe for the public's knowledge, Mr. Mayor, it would be well worth noting that those items we've been waiting on for
A long time.
maybe close to a year.
Yeah, the garbage truck is over a year. I think we ordered it in April of '22. And it's been about maybe 9 months for the compactor.
And I do want to commend the crew for keeping the existing garbage trucks running while waiting. And now
Long
things are
time.
much more efficient now that they actually have the new truck and they're able to use the new truck. So,
They were struggling here at the end.
Yes, and Mr. Mayor, the public should also be aware that monies for these items were budgeted.
Yes. And I will be going out for requests for proposals for a lease purchase for these two items. If you remember, during our budget session, we did decide to go out for a lease purchase on those two large dollar items. So I will be sending those out shortly.
it's just that it just took forever to come in and there's a big hit to the checking account this month.
Right, right. It should be replenished as soon as we get those proceeds from the loan.
On the first set of bills for All Tech Industries for repairs to electric truck maybe?
Yes.
What were all those repairs for, do you remember?
Well, they're inspected every year,
Well, that's for the safety inspection?
and then they're repaired, yes.
Okay,
So these are the repairs from that inspection. And if you notice the date of one of those, or a couple of those invoices, somehow that invoice got missed, so it'll have to be paid in this fiscal year.
okay. And back on page 8, Shums Codum Associates, plan review for Cowboy Clinic, Essential Fuels and Mid-States. What was that for?
That's a plan review for the new out there. All the projects go to a third-party plan reviewer.
All of the commercial,
Well, I mean, what do they review of it?
They review the building and the structural,
the plans.
plumbing and the HVAC.
So is this a company that we hired to do that, or what?
Third-party plan reviewer that I use,
I think we've used them before.
we use them a lot.
Same with fuel technology in Mid-States?
Yes.
And they
those-
review it and just say that it's a good project, or what?
They review it for compliance with the code. I'm a building inspector, they're a plan reviewer. They
Okay,
catch it on the plan review, then they bring it to me and I inspect it as they reviewed it. They work with their engineers and contractors to get what they need.
okay.
And I believe we're reimbursed through the building permit.
Building permit by ordinance, we're supposed to charge 67% of whatever we charge in a building permit fee. These folks, I just charge what they charge me, which is about 50% cheaper than that. It's way cheaper to go this route than it is
Well, I noticed because there's one of them's $2,500 and the other one's only $450.
different buildings. The one I think was just a C-store remodel, and the other one was a brand new building.
Well, Mid-States Tire was a new building.
The essential
Yeah, they had all their
fuels.
ducks in a row, their plans were good.
Okay. And one more question on page 1 of the next set. Under Black Hills Gas. Is that $1,052 for heating the swimming pool?
Yes.
Why?
It's here, heating the water in the pool.
You have $1,000 and when the temperature is 100 degrees outside?
And it was still cool, I think.
It's running about
80 degrees right now. And we just put almost $3,000 in a heater repair. The heater's 20 years old.
I don't know, it just seems like a lot of money to heat swimming pool for the month of July, June and July.
They were complaining because it was too cold.
Really?
Yes.
Well, there's people there at 5:36 in the morning swimming. They have to do that to get all the cycling, all the enough space to get everybody in and out of there between lessons and aerobics.
Okay.
It's a lot of water to heat.
A lot of gas.
Solar heating overnight.
What was the issue with the heater back when the swim team couldn't or wouldn't swim?
Was that the heat? I can't remember, it's been so long.
Yeah, it was.
Shutting off all summer, and we have a heck of a time finding an actual boiler repair person. I think in July I found one in Greeley. I called the hospital and see who they use, and they referred me to this gentleman. He's been down here twice. He was down here last Friday. Yeah, he's very knowledgeable. He tested everything, and I hope we can stick with him. But boiler mechanics in Wyoming are hard to find. They're a special animal.
And the boiler is 20 years old?
That's the least of our worries, because we drained it and the paint's coming off really bad. Really bad.
We may have to have a work session coming soon on that.
Sounds like.
No more questions, Mr. Mayor. I've made a motion to approve the bills as presented.
All right, on item number 3, I have a motion from Councilman Kelly, to approve the bills as presented. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Victorin. Any further discussion, gentlemen? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Item number 3, all those in favor of approval of those bills as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed signify by saying nay. Hearing no nays, those bills in item 3 are approved. We are on the last item on the agenda, which is public comment. And I told David Dent, our local golf pro, that I would give some time to him to recognize his employees and give us a few words about the golf course. I will just start. As I said in my informational items, the municipal golf course is #1 public golf course in Wyoming, and that was voted by golfpass.com as #1 public golf course in Wyoming. That's quite an honor. And as you gentlemen know who have been out there, there are hundreds of improvements: bridges, cart paths, flower boxes, tee boxes, fence lines, and so on. And I do want to say, I get a substantial number of emails, especially from out-of-town folks, giving a lot of compliments and credit for such a good golf course. And I usually forward those on to Dave, and I'm sure he forwards it on to his crew. But I do get a substantial number of those, and that's a good thing. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dave.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I might add, not just from other states, but countries, Canada and Sweden.
Okay.
So we have some international golfers that play for the for Eastern Wyoming College. And by the way, Dennis, if I win the lottery, I'll take care of the swimming pool. That might be what it
We'll
takes.
hold you to that.
Yeah, please do. It would be a big lottery. You mentioned golfpass.com. That's exactly right. So if you go into golfpass.com and make a comment, which is how this came about, that's like considered a vote, if you will. So I'm putting that on air. Those people that have played our golf course and enjoy it, go into golfpass.com. Tell them what you think about our golf course, because it is exceptional for this community, the size of town, and our geographics. It's an unbelievable golf course, and these guys deserve a lot of credit for it, and I'll introduce them in just a second here. But I just wanted to mention that some of the things that we do to reach out, from an online tee sheet to billboards, which now have the stickers on them that say voted #1 public golf course in the state of Wyoming, which has drawn some attention from passerbyers that stop in because they saw that and actually do play the golf course. So it's pretty cool. The coolest one was the bikers. And how they got golf clubs to the golf course, I have no idea, but they did play it. So it was kind of neat. So that being said, I want to give thanks to our community, a bunch of sponsors, advertisements, private donations. There's just a lot that goes on out there, and especially thank you, Mayor and Council, for the budget that we're allowed to use. It's a lot of work to try to use a budget diligently and don't abuse it. It's a big task for us, and we feel like we're understaffed because of just the nature of our namesake, Cottonwoods. Gardy can tell you, maybe a little bit better than I can, but it's not a half hour of weed eating trees. It's several days. That's a lot of work. And so you put work into the greens, the bunkers, the trees, everything that we do to maintain that is a lot of work. And Wyoming's weather doesn't necessarily help. So these guys have their hands full. I hold them pretty accountable. I kind of keep, I don't know, I'll say a thorn in them. I push it in a little further when I need to and pull it out a little bit more when I don't. But they do an exceptional job. So let me introduce them. And if I can recall, I forgot my notes, if I can recall the years, but I'll go with our Superintendent Gardy Pyle first. If I'm not mistaken, 32 years here as a city employee at the golf course. I think that's outstanding. On the end here is Jeff Ellison. And by the way, Gardy does a great job delegating all his work and making sure that the things that we go get maintained. Otherwise, if they don't, we're not going to get any more. So we try to use that. His expertise is the best of our ability. And then there's Jeff Ellison. I think Jeff's been here, if I recall right, since 2004. Jeff will not complain about a thing and go do anything that you need him to do. From cleaning the bathroom to jumping on a mower to raking bunkers, cutting bunkers, anything, picking up leaves or branches from a windstorm, it doesn't matter. And all these guys do a lot of that same stuff. So thank you, Gardy, and thank you, Jeff. Exceptional workers. And then there's Tim Baker. He's been with us 3 summers. I forget where you came from, Tim. Was it? South Dakota. South Dakota. So glad to have Tim. Tim runs a few of our mowers, helps with the driving range, and will get out and do anything that we need him to do as well. Then we got Randy Austin, who's our maintenance tech, AKA another one of those guys that's asked to be out on the golf course when he has 84 pieces of equipment, not including chainsaws, weed eaters, or blowers that he has to try to maintain. And we'll help him as much as we can when it comes to crunch time. But I think Randy will be the first to tell you right before a big tournament, a big mower will go down. It's almost inevitable. Is that true? And then we have Craig Sandlin. Also, gosh, I can't say enough about any of these guys, but Craig's been here 2001. So we got a lot of longevity here at this golf course, a lot of pride that goes into it. And you can see the age of us guys. We're not getting any younger. We come in the mornings and not a one of us is not limping or shaking. And it's not necessarily from too much coffee. But Craig is our irrigation tech. Craig is one of those guys you never have to ask to go do anything. He's from one job to the next, as all these guys are. Just impressive group of men. I introduced these guys at the Blowdorn 2-man men's golf challenge. They got their trophies then. I thought that was an appropriate time to do that. And on the trophy, it says voted #1 public golf course in the state of Wyoming with all of their names on them, and well-deserved. And in front of that group of people, 100 of them played in that tournament. Standing ovation for the hardest, and I mean this wholeheartedly, the hardest working maintenance crew I've ever worked with. Definitely the hardest working maintenance crew in the state of Wyoming, and definitely the most proudest I have ever been of a crew that I've ever worked with. So hats off to you guys. I appreciate you guys very much. And unbeknownst to me, this came in and Gardy had it, and our sales rep sent one for me, which Gardy presented to me at the Blowdorn tournament. Kind of shocked me because my granddaughter came in when I was working on the scorecards, came rushing over and said, "Papa, they need you over there at the scoreboard." And I thought, what's going on? Something wrong. So I walk in the door, and there he is trying to hold a mic shaking and in front of a crowd. So he did a nice job, and I appreciate that also, guys. So if you don't mind, I'd like to give these guys a pretty nice round of applause for the work that they put into this golf course. So.
Thank you, Dave.
You
and
bet.
Gentlemen, you have a good spokesman.
And if you have any other questions, we'd be happy to answer them, because we know that we try to get you out there once a year, at least to visit with, and that didn't happen this year. So if we're missing anything, you're more than welcome to come and visit with me, just out of the blue, whatever, stop by, see what we're doing, see what projects we're doing. Which you do need to come by, come through the gate and see the new tee box that's being built on the backside of, it's by the gate. And we just made that hole 621 yards long. Might be the longest hole in the state of Wyoming, which is another conversation piece that we want out in the community and amongst the state and the surrounding states. So it's going to be beautiful. It's already taking shape. These guys are getting the dirt on it now. Sod, what, tomorrow? Yeah, probably in a week. It's getting there. So a little bit more work to do. But if you have any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them, or for any of them. If you have any questions for any of these guys, they'd be happy to answer them for you. I'm speaking for them. But and if you guys have anything you want to say, right now is your time. So I know they're all appreciative, and we thank you for your
We
time.
won't put them on the spot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate your time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are still in public comment section. Are there any other takers for public comment section, who would like to come up and address council? Don't see any, but I do see Fire Chief Luis Correa. Would you like to come up and give us a report?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. It's been, I almost hate to say it, but it's been relatively slow for us. We helped out quite a bit at the Pleasant Valley Fire. I think we had at least one truck up there for 7 or 8 days, along with at least 2 people, sometimes 3 or 4 at a time. So yeah, we got that handled with the help of a whole lot of people. But since then, yeah, we haven't had very much. We had a mutual aid call to Lingle and a carbon monoxide call, but that's about it. As far as calls go, I'd like to let you guys know and everyone else know that we do have our compressor up and running finally. We were able to get it installed, and that happened yesterday with our annual air pack testing. The guys from MES took good care of us, and we're good to go for another year, and hopefully we'll get another 20 years out of that compressor like we did with the last one. So but that's all we really have going on.
And I know that you had some concerns when you were installing that air compressor, but some of those concerns, it went pretty well given the circumstances, right?
It did. We were able to not have to do any more construction other than moving a breaker box to the location where the new compressor has to be because of airflow concerns in the room that it was in. It had to be moved out into our main apparatus bay. But that was it, just moving the breaker box. We didn't have to anchor it down to the ground. It was heavy enough that it would be able to just be on the floor. So that was a lot of stress taken off of my shoulders. So
Oh, good. You've had a lot of stress this last couple of weeks.
yeah, it's been adventurous for sure.
Gentlemen, do you have any questions for the chief? I'm happy you guys are getting a break.
Yeah, it's been much needed rest for our guys, and we've had some time to get our trucks up and running, and I think they're all good to go. I think we got some maintenance stuff on the rural fire district 3 side with just oil changes and stuff, but, yeah, we got our full fleet up and operational, and life's pretty good for us right now.
All right. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Gentlemen, council members, do you have any public comments? I don't see any. I don't see any more. Anybody out there who wants to make a public comment? So, yes, sir.
I would like to invite you guys over to the pool. If you got 5 or 10 minutes of the day, just give me a call. I'd meet you over there. I'd like you to look at the inside of that pool while it's empty.
Okay.
Trying to get vendors here to look at it.
Good point. All right. So, all right, thank you, Dennis. All right, we have completed the agenda. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.